Ayo. Another day not working for the man. Welcome back, it's Zempak here. Today's question comes from a friend of mine who asked, should I ever touch my 401k even in the times like these, in epidemic, pandemic, disastrous, apocalyptic times? And the answer is simple. Normally, I'd say no, right? First of all, I'm assuming you're talking about a 401k that's funded with pre-tax money rather than post-tax money, like a Roth 401k or something like that. Because if it's Roth, you already pay the tax. There's going to be less issues with you taking the amount out. But most people, I'm going to guess you just have a regular 401k, right? So when should you take that money out before retirement? I mean, the whole point of that investment kind of envelope or vehicle is that it's for your retirement, right? So there's a penalty for you to take out that money. Now, I've heard some arguments that you can feel free to use that money if you want to, put it towards a real safe, relatively secure investment like housing, right? There's some arguments made, in that fashion or direction. But outside of that, because the question was phrased like, should I use it for my pandemic needs, right? That tells me that you're talking about maybe you're forced to use it. No, look, the reality is like this is some once in a century type of time that we live in right now. And if you lost your job and you're down on your last pennies, better to use the 401k rather than fund your lifestyle with, say, credit card debt. Okay, so that's true. You should definitely not take on some ridiculous cash advances from credit cards that are, charging you 15, 20, 25% interest rate, right? Nothing you do to your quote-unquote 401k, retirement will be that bad in terms of the monetary cost, right? So I'd say yes. If you have no other recourse, you can use your 401k. But what I'm talking about is like if you're just feeling pandemic fatigue and you're like, hey, I still have a job. I'm not feeling that flush, and I haven't been outside for quite a few months, which is everyone, right? If your question is, hey, should I dig into my 401k to take a vacation or something, then absolutely not. You can use that money if you don't have enough money to live, right? At a very basic level, if you can't cover your living expenses, yeah, go ahead and tap into your retirement account, all right? Just remember, the whole point of a retirement account is that they sit there, you don't touch it, and that's how it can grow. Once you touch it, once you take it out, then it's just like really any other money. In fact, because 401ks are usually funded by pre-tax money, you're actually penalized for taking that money, right? Again, not as much as the ridiculous interest rates on things like cash advances on credit cards, but it is still, it's not free, okay? It's not quite the same thing as money you have in your savings account, right? So, all in all, I think you get the point, right? Push comes to shove, last resort, you can use that 401k money, but only for needs, right? This is where a personal, subjective view needs to be taken, right? Like, what do you think really is a need rather than a want, right? If you're the type of person who can't tell the difference between a need and a want, if you think a want and a need is almost the same, that you need, a BMW or a Mercedes, then I honestly can't help you, okay? First things first, you need to identify the difference between a need and a want. And if you know you absolutely need it for living, for your family, put your kids through school, things like that, long term, anything that has a real, impact on your future, on your well-being, I'm not talking about luxuries, but your basic well-being. You can use it for that, but other than that, look, the pandemic's gonna pass. That now that the orange douche is just about out of office, things will get better. Okay, the economy usually does better under Democrats anyway. Okay, for individuals, not for companies, but for individuals. So, you guys will be all right. Just keep up a good attitude and we'll get out of this in no time. Night.